Good morning, listeners, and welcome back to the Internet Marketing and Business Solutions radio show with Ron Couming of RCS Online Solutions, where we help business owners and entrepreneurs, much like you, achieve even greater success by attracting, converting, and retaining their ideal customers and clients. The purpose of the show is called Internet Marketing and Business Solutions with Ronald Couming. The purpose of this show is to just bring you information that can help you cut down your learning curve and have your chances of having greater success without having to go through all the pitfalls that most entrepreneurs and business owners go through. And we do that in two ways. One way is we'll bring on subject matter experts from around the globe who will that are all vetted by me. They're all invited by me that will talk to you about who they are, what they do, how they started, and some of the hurdles that they overcame. And listening to them, it's hoped that you'll hear some of the things that they went through, and then you can avoid them. And then if you do find yourself in the middle of them, hearing how they got out of them or how they solved them, it will also help you navigate. And then the second thing we do, if we don't have any guests on that day or we only have one, we break the show usually up into two segments. What we'll do then is just give out some tips, some actionable tips on how you can achieve even greater success in different forms of marketing. So today, actually, I'm not going to have any guests till April. I wanted to give more content. Last month and this month, I suspended guests, and I have guests already scheduled for April and May, but I want to just give away a lot of content so you guys can have some actionable, methods and techniques to grow your business. So in the second section today, after the 11:30 break, we're going to talk about 15 ways to grow your business fast, and that will be several different actionable steps and processes that you can take, 15 of them, to grow your business. But in the first section here, I want to talk to you about, and you're going to see a pattern here, this is 15 tips to master your content marketing. So the second section is going to be how to grow your business, 15 tips on how to grow your business fast. And this first section here, which is from now till about 11:30-ish, we're going to talk about 15 tips to master your content marketing. And what I've done is I've written down some things that I want to focus on, and I'll read directly from, but I will also ad-lib as things go on and just give you some examples. I've been doing all forms of digital and content marketing for, well over a decade now, and my digital marketing, online marketing, all of it. And I have clients all over the world. I speak across the country on internet marketing. In the last 2 months, I've been in like 4 different locations giving presentations on internet marketing and participating in some really great events. So all that stuff I learn, I come back and I pass it on to you guys. So the first section is 15 tips to master your content marketing. You probably heard the term content marketing tossed around during marketing meetings, but do you really fully understand what it is and what it entails and how to succeed at it? Let's first start with the basics. What is content marketing? According to Content Marketing Institute, now I'm going to read you a direct quote, content marketing is a strategic marketing approach focused on creating and distributing valuable, relevant, and consistent content to attract and retain a clearly defined audience and ultimately to drive profitable customer action. So, simply put, content marketing involves creating helpful, engaging content that is meant to educate, not overtly sell your product. In fact, it is incredibly effective at creating and expanding brand awareness and ultimately converting leads. According to Content Marketing Institute, content marketing results in conversion rates 6 times higher than other marketing tactics. Now, 6 times higher. You got to pay attention to that statistic. So, how do you master these content marketing tips? And there's several ways. I mean, like this show for me, I'm going to give you the 15 tips, right, in a second. But for me, this episode, I take this episode, like all episodes, whether they're my guests or tip sections, and we load them up on WC980 AM's website. We load them up on my website, RCS, www.rcsonlinesolutions.com, as well as my YouTube channels, and then I'll push them out on social media so people can see them. But that's all content marketing, right? So, and this is just valuable tips that I'm giving away. It builds, people's awareness of who you are, and you're not selling, you're serving, right? And then, once they get to see you as an authority in that space, and there's a whole bunch of stuff, but we'll cover all that now. But here's the first of the 15 tips, and these aren't necessarily in order. So I kind of wrote them down, but, the first one really is what you need to do at the very beginning, and that's form your strategy. You got a plan. You got to have a plan, and so forming a content marketing strategy is an essential part of a powerful content marketing presence. There are a lot of steps involved, but those who define their strategy from the beginning are typically more successful at content marketing than those that do not. What should your strategy include? What should you go? How should you go about creating it? This is a topic that is beyond the scope of this article, simply due to the extensive nature of the information involved. To really dig into strategy, creation, I recommend that, I could possibly just do a whole nother segment on that, or you could call me and we can talk about it at 978-606-5432, or send me an email at ron at rcsonlinesolutions.com, and maybe I can just send you a helpful guide. Because we're going to give you, if I just give you the strategy, that would be a whole episode in itself. So the very first thing is you need to form a strategy, all right? And number 2, we got 15, okay? So number 2 is to define your unique value proposition and create content that supports it. Now, that's super huge. Most people don't even understand, what their value proposition is. And in English, it basically means what separates you from your competitors. What is it about you that is so attractive that somebody needs to really consider you or choose you over a competitor? And let's be real. At the end of the day, there's probably 20 people within a 50-mile radius who provide the same services that you do. So what sets you apart? That's what your unique value proposition is. Some people call it your unique selling proposition. You'll hear different terms, but that's what that basically means. So you need to really define if you're a person, if you're a brand, if you're a whole company, every marketer should define their company's unique value proposition. It is a statement about why your particular product or service provides unique value to the consumer that your competition doesn't. Remember, it's what sets you apart. While you create your content marketing strategy, you will likely create your value proposition. Once you have that in hand, use it to guide the content creation process. Create content that speaks to the pain points that your value propositions solve for. You don't have to mention your company or products. That can happen down the line, but you do want to make sure your content aligns with your unique selling proposition or your unique value proposition. One of my unique value propositions is, which I told you in the course of my conversation, right? I mentioned that I speak around the country. So I just left. I was in San Diego. I spoke in San Diego, Santa Monica, Burbank. Last month I was in Venice Beach. So I've spoken, and I'm going to Dallas next month to speak. So, there are plenty of people who do digital marketing, right, and online presentations and all this, some of the same services that we provide. But I have been chosen by multiple organizations to fly to the other side of the country, and I've gone to Florida as well, and I certainly speak around Boston. But that's a unique value proposition because I bring all those massive connections to the table. So if one or more of my customers or clients, I got pictures with Kevin Harrington from the Shark Tank just the other day, Frank Shankowitz, the founder of Make-A-Wish, Jeff Hoffman, who's the founder of Priceline, and a whole bunch of other people who were found. Brian Smith, the founder of Uggs. I go to dinner with these people, right? So that type of business knowledge that I get from them and having conversations, that type of knowledge I pass on to my clients at no extra cost. You know what I mean? So that is like one. And plus, if somebody needed an introduction, or a lot of these guys are doing venture capital stuff right now, right? So, these are people that I could introduce people to. So that is an example of what a unique selling proposition is, too. So keep in mind, whatever your unique value proposition is, get it and clearly define it. And then make sure when you're creating your content and you're talking about the problems that you solve, you're interweaving that in such a way that you're not necessarily, it's what you call seeding. You're not necessarily overtly just coming out with it and then explaining the values to it. Most of the values should be self-evident, but you need to clearly define it and create your content so it comes across clear. And then you want to develop your buyer persona. I can't tell you how many people make this mistake. They think, let's say it's a gym, a local gym. Well, we serve anybody in a, 10-mile radius. Well, no, you don't. You know what I mean? So, clearly define your buyer's persona. Buyer personas are another essential piece of a strong content marketing presence. And just like your UVP, your unique value proposition, you'll likely develop these while you build out your content strategy. It's very important to speak to a certain, it's not like you're doing a tiny niche. You probably can serve multiple people, but when you're creating your content, you want to speak to an individual, Buyer personas are profiles of what your typical buyer looks like. If you work in B2B marketing, there will be various decision makers at your prospect's company. So you want to develop various buyer personas to reflect that. The best way to build buyer personas is to send a survey to your customer base and gain the insights needed to build them. Ask questions that will help you define attributes for your buyer personas, such as, what is their title, role in the organization? What are their biggest challenges in their daily jobs? What are their primary objectives that are not being met? What pain points could be solved by a product or service like yours? What are the demographics, such as age, gender, location? Maybe it's race and religion. What are the demographics? It could be regional. It could be, maybe it's somebody within a 5-mile, 10-mile, 6-mile, 20-mile radius. If you're a location place, it would be somebody probably who's driving by, right? Are you a destination, or are you in like a mall where there's other stores there and people might see you even though they didn't know you were there, and that would become, they would become aware of you. Because if you're a destination, meaning you're a standalone place, then they have to become aware of you by themselves, right? And so what type of content do they prefer to consume? Do they like emails, texts, social media, and what platform? LinkedIn, Twitter, better for business, Facebook, Instagram, so what platform? And you got to deliver to them. Some people deliver to all of them anyhow, right? And that's, not necessarily a bad thing, but you definitely want to make sure you're providing the content exactly where your people are. And number 4, focus on the most engaging type of content. When you survey your customers to build out their buyer personas, you want to ask them what kind of content they typically enjoy consuming. And you want to focus on those types of content. Some of the most engaging types of content used in successful content marketing programs are blogs, videos, infographics, ebooks, podcasts, and case studies. Number 5, on a consistent basis. If you don't have a company blog, consider starting one today. You'll need to write about issues and challenges that your prospects and consumers face. They provide solutions to those without trying to sell anything. You're just educating your audience, and through that, you're establishing yourself as an authority in your space, which is what I was alluding to earlier. 77% of Internet users read blogs while online. 77%. Small businesses that publish blogs are 126 more lead growth than those that do not. While reading recommendations from a blog, 61 of online consumers in the U.S. made a purchase. Companies that publish blogs generate 55% more website traffic and 97% more inbound leads to their site. And a big reason for that is the SEO, because in your blog, you might be talking about a solution and a problem. And when a person is going to the Internet, they're typing in looking for that solution. So the verbiage that they're going to use will probably match, if you do your blogs right, will probably match what is written in your blogs, and then Google's going to pull you up, right? So it really helps with your SEO as well, and it drives more traffic. It brings awareness, and as you can see, 126% people who blog, businesses, have 126 more lead growth than those that don't. So then you want to map your content of the phases of the buyer's journey. Super important as well. As your prospects move through the journey on their way to being customers, different types of content at various stages of your journey will be more effective at moving them further along. You want to map the kind of content that prospects at each stage need to see in that particular area. So the first thing is it becomes about awareness. First they have to become aware of you, then an interest, then a desire, then conversion, and then retention. And remember, a conversion can be somebody buying from you, but it can also be somebody submitting their name and email and to get a free ebook or something. A conversion is, simply just getting somebody's contact info. And that's huge, because then you start that nurture process. They see you, they start to see you as the authority. So whether they're looking to buy right now or to purchase a service or a solution right now, you may be the go-to person. But if you're not, if they are not, rather, it gives you time to send a follow-up email, to send texts, or next week they're going to, read your next blog, right? And it's a relationship. Very rarely do you get somebody and make a sale right away. Most of the time, it takes 7 to 10 touches. And most people quit after the second or third. So remember, the fortune's in the follow-up. And then create a content calendar. Once you have your strategy and it's finalized, then your content needs to be, then you need to create your content calendar. You need to create a calendar so that your content tells a story over time. That helps you become more organized and ensures that you fill all the content gaps that need filling. I recommend creating a new calendar quarterly. You can always tweak it as you go, but having a calendar creation maps out over the next few months and will help you be more strategic about what you create, and also help you not to forget, right? And I know for me, like today, I'm going to have 2 pieces of content. But yesterday I created 4 pieces of content. It took me less than an hour. So now this week I've already have 6 pieces of content, and it's not even lunchtime on Monday, right? So now it allows me to focus more on my business instead of being in my business. And definitely, number 8, focus on quality over quantity. High-quality content is the bedrock of content marketing. It's right there. It's right up there with the definition of, that we gave about content marketing, about valuable content. One high, valuable, engaged piece of content is worth 100 pieces of crappy content. Plus, if you do put out subpar content, readers will take notice and will shy away from you when they see your content and they need an answer to an important question, because they'll have already read something from you that was shoddy or subpar, and they're just going to, move on from you. Number 9, repurpose your content. And if you have a killer ebook or a white paper, repurpose the content within to generate even more places around the same topic. You could slim it down and publish a blog article on the topic, or put the numbers in key takeaways and create an infographic. It's a great way to squeeze the most juice out of your content creation. Another thing is you could create a video. Create a 3-minute video. Push the video out, but then also have the video transcribed. Now you take that transcription and that becomes a blog. Then you take the video and the blog and you put them together, and that becomes another third piece of content. And there's several other ways that you can do that. Align social media. This is number 10. Align social media with your content marketing calendar. You want to make sure that you're using your social media, and if you're sharing a blog, share the blog. Post it to your website, but then post like the first sentence or maybe 2 on a social media platform with a read more, so they click back and go back to your website. And then also share your content with social media groups. That's a great way, because the groups are like-minded people, right, or they have a similar interest. So when you're sharing it within a group, not selling, you're serving, because you're just building its content. You're giving away information, right? And remember, there's a difference between giving away information and being instructional. Your information is telling people basically, what they need and maybe why, but you're not telling them exactly how to do it, right? So it's informational. Prioritize content marketing over paid search. Yeah, do organic all day. I'm not trying to piss off Google or anybody else, but, when you see somebody on the first page of Google as an ad, it's not because they earned it. It's because they outbid somebody, right? And that's it. That's all it is. Now, when you see organic placement and you see somebody in the top 3 there, they earned it over time, by putting out quality content, delivering quality services for the most part. I mean, you can always have somebody who rised up through the ranks and then, 1 or 2 customers have a bad experience with them. But more often than not, you want to do your stuff organic over paid. I like to refer to it as it's real opposed to rented. Use content marketing to drive your SEO. I had talked about that earlier, and how you can, creating valuable educational content that solves problems for your constituents can be the heart and soul of your SEO efforts all day. This is particularly true for blogging. Google takes notices of high-value content delivered on a consistent basis and rewards you by increasing your position in search results. To be sure, populating your website with valuable content results in 434% more search engine indexed pages than companies that don't publish web content. So it's huge. Drive engagement with killer content. You can use content marketing as a key engagement driver in your lead generation efforts. Nothing will engage your audience more than valuable content, and the numbers will tell the story. According to Opt-in Monster, 72% of marketers report that content marketing increases engagement. Engagement leads to conversions, which leads to revenue growth, and you can just do the math from there. Number 15, use marketing automation to distribute your content. I mean, who has time to do all this stuff themselves, right? I have 26 employees. I have a huge agency, and, I have 79 active clients right now, and we have various things that we use for automation to distribute content. So if somebody sends us a piece of content, we can push it out to like 5, 7, 10 different channels at the same time. So they get the breadth, the width of all that, and we don't have to literally sit there and log into each and every social media profile. Now, some social media profiles give higher priority to native content than something coming in from, let's say, Buffer or Hootsuite or something. But, there's always give and take. You definitely want to use some form of automation. You can certainly balance it with some platforms that might be more important to your customers to get a little more reach. So Make sure you use automation to distribute your content when it's right, okay? And then in conclusion, it may come as a surprise to learn that the extent of the benefits you gain from content marketing. Marketing in general is a constant state of transition. The older outbound tactics, although still valuable, are given away to inbound strategies. Content marketing should be your number one inbound marketing strategy. Follow these 15 tips above, and you'll be sure to drive more lead conversions, close more deals, and increase your growth. Every tip I gave you, the things that I was reading from, and some of my ad libs you can go back and listen to, but all the stuff I read, when this clip gets put up on my website, rcsonlinesolutions.com, as well as WCAP 980 AM's website, will have in the description, will have this entire everything that I read from. And you can, as far as my ad libs go, you can just go back and re-listen. So, again, it's totally free. This has been the 15 tips on how to create and really impact your business with content marketing. You've been listening to Ronald Couming on the Internet Marketing and Business Solutions radio show.